There are more reports indicating that, well, the media is being manipulated to manufacture support for Reza Pahlavi, who is the gentleman that you see in the images right beside me. He is the son of the Shah that was ousted in Iran during the Islamic Revolution. Well, now it appears that the West, the United States and Israel in particular, are angling to install him as Iran's puppet leader should the current Iranian regime fall. But here's what you should know. Back in October of last year, of course, Haaretz published an incredible expose on how Israel is attempting to manufacture support for him. And this is a pretty large-scale digital influence campaign that operates out of Israel, and it is funded by a private entity that uses money from the Israeli government. Okay, so this is all sourced from the Israeli government. The campaign promotes Pahlavi's public image and amplifies calls for restoring the monarchy, which I don't know if you guys are aware is the antithesis of a democracy. The campaign relies on avatars, fake online personas posing as Iranian citizens on social media. They were first discovered by social media researchers in Israel and abroad. The campaign included fake accounts on platforms such as X and Instagram and used artificial intelligence tools to help disseminate key narratives, craft its message, and generate content. And according to two sources who spoke to Haaretz, there were also efforts to essentially amplify the posts of Pahlavi's allies in Israel. There's one person in particular that this Israeli government officials' posts kept getting emphasized. And as the dissident reports, during the current protests, which began as peaceful protests around Iran's mismanagement of the economy, but were taken over by a violent regime change element, Israeli and American officials have openly boasted that there are Mossad agents on the ground attempting to push the protests in a pro-regime change direction. So Israel's heritage minister, for instance, bragged about this. So this is Amichai Eliyahu's statement. When we attacked in Iran during Rising Lion, we were on its soil. I can assure you that we have some of our people operating there right now. And so this is why I feel awful for the Iranian people who are engaging organically in this protest against the Iranian regime. Because again, that movement is being co-opted and exploited by Israel for its own interests. And Israel does not care about the Iranian people. They don't care about democracy. They don't care about the freedom of the Iranian people. What they want is a puppet government to do its bidding. And that is not going to work out well for the Iranian people. And honestly, I don't know how this is going to be handled, because I want the Iranian people to live in a country that is free, live under the type of leadership that they genuinely want. But every time they try to do this, immediately you see Israel's grubby little fingers all over it, trying to essentially move it or navigate it in a direction that serves Israel's interests as opposed to the interests of the Iranian people.
Yeah, so there's one thing, again, not in dispute. Not only is it the Israeli heritage minister saying it, but Mossad has said it on their accounts that they're in the streets next to the protesters. Mike Pompeo, the former Secretary of State for Trump, has said it publicly. What's amazing about it is that both the American and Israeli officials will say, yeah, we're manipulating the protests to support Israel and create regime change. And then when we report that, they go, oh, you're an anti-Semite. For quoting Mossad? It's a conspiracy theory. Well, one put out by Mossad, right? In fact, when we first covered that statement by Mossad, I was like, are they not in the streets? Why would they want us to know that? It's kind of a weird thing that Israel itself is putting out. And it seemed like they wanted to create a fog of confusion around it. But it's not us saying it, it's literally the Israeli government saying it. Yes, we have agents in the streets provoking all of this. So that's just not in dispute. So now why does Israel want a Shah, a king, a monarch? And why does the Reza Pahlavi, the son of the former Shah, want to be the new Shah? Well, they're a perfect match because the Shah Jr. over here, Reza, has no power in Iran at all, has no power base, no one on the ground, period. So the only way that he could go back into power as the new king, like his daddy was if he gets a foreign government to place him on top of the Iranian people, because he can't organically rise from the streets. By the way, if I'm wrong about this, Reza Pahlavi, great news. I mean, this is a moment of great tumult and a new revolution has started. So why don't you go join it? I mean, lead your people. If they're your people and they're chanting your names all over the streets, well, get in there, Reza. That's what courage is made of. And if you want to be a king, that's what kings do. They win in battle, right? So go to Tehran or any Iranian city. There's a million ways to get into Iran. You could ask your Israeli buddies to bring you in there. No, they're not gonna do that. None of the royals are gonna go fight. They're egging people on to go die on their behalf. And the only way they can come into power is through Israel and America. Now, why do the Israelis want a dictator instead of a democracy? Well, there's many reasons, but the number one reason is democracies, especially in the Middle East, are going to be very hard to control. The people in those countries are furious with Israel for what they have done to the Palestinians, let alone the Iranians and the Lebanese and the Syrians, and the list goes on and on. So Israel is hated in the Middle East. A democracy would be a terrible outcome for Israel. So they're like, oh, you guys once had a puppet Shah, okay? Great, that's a great idea. We want a dictator, as we've placed in so many other countries like Jordan and Egypt and UAE and Saudi Arabia. And all those dictators do exactly what we order them to do, and they keep the local Arab populations down so they don't mind when we slaughter the Palestinians and take their land. And that's what we'd like to do. And the new Shah Jr. is like, great deal. You're gonna murder my people and put me in as their dictator? Fantastic. So don't buy into that crap. You just saw from the Israeli press itself reporting, no, the support is sock puppet accounts, bots, trolls, etc. The Israelis are totally running this fake support for the Shah. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't mean that the Iranian people are not furious with the regime and that they don't want change organically. I think they definitely do. But they want a democracy. They want a free Iran. They don't want to go, oh, a dictator from Israel. We would love that. That's why we're risking our lives. And people say that with a straight face here in American media. It's preposterous. Most of the things you see in American media is nothing but Israeli propaganda. They're not telling you the truth at all. It's amazing that we have to go to the Israeli press to find out what the truth is. And they're like, oh yeah, we're totally manipulating. It doesn't matter, American media won't be able to say anything about it. And I'm sure you didn't see it, but I interviewed Ryan Grimm the other day, last night actually. And Ryan and I were talking about, there's a phenomenon among reporters in DC. They know that if you do a story about Israel, even if it's 100% factual, you're playing Russian roulette with your career. It is going to be attacked. You're going to be called an anti-Semite, and there's going to be a campaign to fire you. So nobody wants to take that risk. So they're all like printing nonsense here. Oh yes, the Iranian people would love a new dictator. Total lies.
Yeah, it is total lies, and you shouldn't take those reports seriously. Nor should you take any statement from anyone on social media who's a hardcore Israel supporter, who provided cover for Israel's mass slaughter, and now claims they have deep concerns about the Iranian people. It's complete and utter nonsense, and they're trying to manipulate you.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.